non-blondes, what's up on WROI and WROI HD1, joined in studio now by Woodlawn CEO, Mr. John Alley.
Good morning.
Good morning, how you doing today?
Oh, living the dream.
What's Woodlawn?
There's other stories I can tell you too.
Yeah. We'll jump right into it.
Yeah, we'll just get into it. Yesterday was our board meeting, and much like our previous, we'd like to do an update. What is the status of what we're seeing in our community, statewide and nationwide? And unfortunately, we're not immune locally. We're seeing a tremendous amount of new cases every day within the county. Healthcare facilities around the state are being stretched to their limits. It's just capacity is not there for the amount of sick people that are coming in. And the other issue we're starting to see is just the staff is getting tired. They're stressed out and they're tired. I mean, wear a mask 12 hours a day, it wears on you. Then you've got all the other equipment that you have to wear, and they're just wearing out. And we're starting to see some of that fatigue even locally now. And we really don't have this amount of really sick patients that we're seeing at some of the other facilities. We have an uptick. We've got several folks in the hospital, several with COVID positive. But they're not to that point where we've got a whole floor of people on vents. We're hoping not to get there, but we're seeing an increased number of patients coming in requiring some of that assistance. So, we're seeing now that this whole thing has changed again as far as the symptoms. Early on it was, if you have a fever, be concerned. Right now, we've had, I think, 27 staff members test positive. Not one member of the staff had a fever. But what their experience was, I was just a little lightheaded, and all of a sudden I have no taste, no smell, and they test positive. So, that's what we're seeing now. Everybody was saying, if I don't have a fever, I can't be contagious. Yeah, you can. So what's happening, locally, folks are maybe just not feeling really good. They're saying, it's the weather, it's my sinuses, it's, my allergies. They're out roaming around and infecting other folks. So, you just got to be aware you might not feel bad, and you're still going to be test positive for COVID, and you're passing that on. So, I get the question from, well, what's the solution? What should we do? So I came up with 3 really good points that probably going to make some people happy and a lot of people unhappy. But basically, stay home. If you don't need to be out, don't go out. If you have to go out, wear a mask, cover your mouth and your nose. I see a lot of folks that got the mask over their mouth, but from an anatomy, you still breathe through your nose, and this is an airborne from the lungs, so you need to cover your mouth and your nose. And then the other thing, if you are out and there's a lot of folks not wearing a mask, stay away from them. That's the easiest thing. That's probably the 3 biggest takeaways. Stay home unless you need to go out. If you go out, wear a mask. And if you're around folks without a mask, stay away from them. That's going to stop this spread. Do we have a vaccine coming? Yes. I think the latest I heard, CDC's going to, December 11th, I believe is the date, they're going to review the test data. Preliminary, it looks very good on the 2 major vaccines right now. So there could be a vaccine released by December 12th or 13th. When are we going to see it? It's not until after the first of the year.
Right.
So everybody's saying, the vaccine's here. It's not here. It's going to go to areas different than Indiana. It's going to go to, somewhat they determine the hot spots. So the vaccine's coming, but again, normal, I don't see normal until 3rd quarter next year. By the time we get everybody vaccinated, get through this cycle, and then we still got to be careful, because how long is the vaccine going to last? They don't know. So COVID is it's real. It's a major problem. I think we're getting close to going over the hump on it, but until we get the vaccine, you got to stay away from each other. And it's hard to do, especially this time of year. Thanksgiving tomorrow scares me to death, the Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Because what we're going to see then is about Christmas, another huge spike in the number of positive cases. Because people say, I feel all right. I'm not sick. You might not feel sick, but you might still transmit it to the 20 other people at your family gathering. Then they transmit it to another 20. And that's what we're seeing now, is just this massive spread of the vaccine. So, if you got to go to your families, wear a mask. I know they're your family. Don't trust them. They're family. Okay? For lack of a better term, they could be sick or you could be sick. So please just practice common sense. If you don't need to go out, don't. And this is one of the first years from our family, we're not doing anything. We're staying home. My daughter's a nurse at Deaconess COVID unit. She's hunkering down. They're not doing anything. So it's, when you got all the healthcare professionals saying, I'm staying home, there's a reason for it. It's because you got to protect yourselves, your family, and everybody else. So please, 3 things. Stay home. If you got to go out, wear a mask over your mouth and nose. If you're around somebody without a mask, stay away from them. Give distance. Hopefully we can slow this down. So I'm sure I will get phone calls this afternoon, but that's okay. It's I think we can't stress it enough what's going on.
Right, and as we were, you mentioned the vaccine coming probably, hopefully, in December. Now I know earlier this year we had talked it would be a double dose.
It's still
style.
a double dose, yes. One of them is 28 days apart. I think that is the Pfizer vaccine. The Modena vaccine, I think, is 21 days apart. So there is this, you have to get that first dose and a secondary dose also. And that's part of the problem there, because now you got to make sure if you got the Pfizer the first dose, you got to get the Pfizer the second. You can't cross the vaccines. And, there's handling the vaccines. For the Pfizer vaccine, we need to keep that at minus 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The Modena can be kept in a normal freezer and I think in the refrigerator up to 30 days. So there's some logistic problems with those. Trying to find a freezer that goes down to minus 90. We was able to find one. It was, not many of them left. Everybody started grabbing them as soon as that came out. So they were hard to find. So we were able to obtain a freezer. We can keep stuff down to minus 90. So guys, after COVID's over, beer fridge, okay? I think it's like instant cold. So, but yeah, it's a lot of things going on right now that is unknown. So what we're doing, it changes every day. The data we get changes daily. So we're constantly trying to adapt to what is going on. What do we need to do as a healthcare facility to make sure we meet those needs and are here for the community when it comes that time. We got into then kind of the regular board meeting. Once we got through that, we had several major capital items that we need to discuss with the board. First one was our x-ray machines. Like everything else, has a computer in them. And find out they're not able to update to Windows 10.
Ooh.
So, and now everything's on Windows 10. So we're having to do an upgrade to the software, basically the internal mechanism, a lot of the x-ray machines. So we'll be doing that as soon as possible, get those upgraded so we can load the Windows 10 on those. The other area we had to talk about is the new emergency room. Starting to see some cracks in the floor where what they're called the expansion joints. So over time, as the building's moved around, we do have some cracks that are going through the floor, and that's just kind of an infection control issue. So we are going to have a new ER floor put in, and that's going to be a major endeavor because we can't shut down the ER to do that. So it's probably going to be several days, if not several weeks in process as we do a section, rope off that section, and we'll have to completely enclose it in visqueen with negative air for infection control. So it will be from a logistics, it's going to be a pain in the neck. It's something we do need to do, make sure that floor is pristine, and as we move forward, so we don't have any infection control issues with that. And then we're going to be doing something up in the OB department, changing out our baby monitors, or the neonatal monitors, to a Lion-Coden, I believe it's called. We want to match them with what's the rest of the hospital. We had a separate system up there, and it's pretty well at the end of life. So now let's go ahead and get something that's compatible. So if we need to move that, the infant to another area, their monitor is going to be compatible with any place else in the hospital. So it just kind of makes it a little more universal for everybody. So it was kind of nice to get the board to approve all that and start getting some of that in by the end of the year, first of next year. Then we went into the budget for 2021, and that has been fun doing the budget because usually it's based off history.
Right.
When we look at 2020, we had about 3 months where we did nothing. I mean, we were shut down for all practical purposes. So you kind of go back, let's look at 2018, 2019, and that's the best guess. So, it's going to be one of those budgets we feel comfortable with. The CFO and myself, we've both gone through it 5 or 6 times to say, okay, what about this and what about this? So we feel comfortable. But again, you just don't know how long this COVID's going to last. If we have another full year of it, our budget's useless. It's not going to be very good. We kind of anticipated by mid-year, we should be past the worst part of it from a healthcare facility. So as we move forward, so we kind of budgeted a half year COVID, a half year non-COVID. So it's going to be interesting this time next year. How good a guess did we make, and how
Yeah.
close did we get for that budget? Then we got into the financials. So for the month of October, we did about $14.8 million in gross revenue. And our famous deductions from revenue, we wrote off $9.6 million. Had some other operating revenue, which is from non-direct healthcare of $51,000. Operating expenses about $5.3 million. So we actually had a positive bottom line for October of $19,378. It doesn't sound like much. You start with $15 million and we wind up with $19,000, but we're excited to be there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a black number. Has some non-operating revenue, about $335,000. So we did post a net income for the month about $355,000. That's helped. We're catching up. We're a little busier now than we were before, so we're trying to make up some of that lost money. But when we go back and look at March, April, and May, we were actually down almost $9 million in revenue. I can't make that up in the rest of the year. So
Right.
we know this year's probably going to be a really nasty year when you look at just pure financials. But we're working away at it. It's nice to see we're having some positive bottom lines as we move through the end of this year. Hopefully we can maintain that all through next year with some positive bottom lines. So it's just been tough. It's not only for us, it's tough for everybody. And we have a lot of hospitals. I just saw an article this morning where one of the largest hospital chains in, I think it's North Dakota, are selling. They're selling to a big conglomerate because they can no longer make it on their own. So we're seeing a lot of hospitals now, consolidations where they're being gobbled up. We're not to that point. I mean, when we look at our financials, we're in really good shape considering what we went through for this year. Could always be better, but I'm not in, I would say, panic mode right now. I think we've done pretty well. We're going to survive the COVID and come out the other side. And I think we're going to be doing really well as we move to the future.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
That was pretty well the board meeting.
Yeah, sounds like a fun board meeting.
Yeah, they're always fun. Right now we're trying to do it by Zoom, so that's a little challenge because people forget they're on mute. So you'll see lips moving, but you can't hear anything. So I think hopefully by the middle of next year, everybody will be Zoom experts, and we'll be able to just conduct these meetings without any problem whatsoever. Right now it's kind of, am I muted? Am I unmuted? Is my video on? Is my video off? So it's been a challenge.
You won't have to worry about taking vacation around the time of a board meeting because you'll just be able to
You
open
can just
up
take
a
it
tablet
with
and
you.
there you
Yes,
go.
yeah. Meetings on the move. So
Yes.
so we're looking. December. I'm hoping is going to be the board meeting pretty uneventful. It's going to be a week earlier because of Christmas. So the meeting will be on the 15th. So I'll probably be in here. I think it would be the 16th. Is that Wednesday?
Yes.
That would be the next report.
All right. Well, we look forward to talking to you in December.
All right. Thanks for having me in.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
Yes, everybody, be safe. Wear your mask.
Yes.
That's the last thing we'll leave with that. Be safe.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Alley.